right, Dave, welcome to the Ed Carberry Show. Joining me, along with my partner at East County Sports, Dave Dickens, the head coach of the Southwestern Jaguars, Ed Carberry. We've asked Ed to join us for his recruitment game this week. It's been an up and down season, but there's been some great wins down at Southwestern this season. Dave, we'll ask Coach to talk about this season, but we just want to kind of get the word out with Ed today that this Saturday night against Mesa, he's inviting high school seniors to come and check out the program and the facilities. Ed will tell us all about that, Dave, but thanks for getting Coach on, and great to see him again. I've seen some of these games, and I have some questions about the season, but we do want to talk about Saturday's game with the Olympians.
Absolutely. Yes. I'm definitely looking forward to hearing about some of the season. I've seen my tidbits, but I didn't get to do it live. And, I got to see the previous two seasons prior COVID. And we had some pretty good ones those years, Coach, and a lot of winning and a lot of close ones, a couple of nail biters, but we definitely want to get into, especially why we're doing this program tonight, and that's to invite the East County kids coming out, all the seniors that are playing right now. Probably a good chunk of them is still in the playoffs since the Grossmont Conference did so well this past week. So you're going to get the cream of the crop because they're doing pretty well, all of them. So we'll let you take it from there, Ed, and tell us about what you got going and how they get in and how they can get in with their parents and enjoy a nice spread and really check out the facility.
Well, thanks for having me out tonight. It's good to talk to you guys. We have a lot of things going on this weekend. It's kind of recruit night, and we've invited every senior that shows up with their game jersey or a Letterman jacket to get in free. And also, if their parents show, their parents can come in for free also. And we're just going to we're going to feed everybody, number one, which brings up people for sure. And do a tour of facilities. We have an incredible set of facilities. And so we wanted everybody a chance and see what we're promoting.
Yeah, Coach, you were talking about not only the tour of the facility. I believe you said
what's going to be is a Thursday at
we still got you,
on
Coach.
Saturday at 4 o'clock. Pardon me.
Yeah,
we hear you, Coach.
We hear you, Coach. 4 o'clock, you're going to start the tour of the facility.
You ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And so, okay. What I was gonna go over unless Ed pops back in, folks. It's going to be at 4 o'clock. They're going to start the tour of the facility.
How's that sound?
And so,
good, Ed.
Both parent and, as you mentioned, you can have a jersey or a Letterman's jacket on if you're a senior looking to check out which community college that you'd like to use. And then they're going to also have a nice little food spread. So I know a lot of you out there will love some free chow and checking out some state-of-the-art weight room and probably one of the top facilities in the county. So, and the bonus is you get to see them play rival San Diego Mesa Olympians. So should be an incredible night. And I think that really is the cherry on top, is to be able to see the teacher or instructor versus the pupil. As we know, Gary Watkins played for Coach Ed.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Dave. And even though I'm having trouble getting a hold of Coach Ed, I'm going to maybe I could bring in Coach Watkins real quick to join us and talk about the game. Hi, Coach Gary. Great to see you.
How's it going?
How you doing, Coach?
Great to have you. And Coach Ed's getting his connections squared away there, but just wanted to maybe we could talk about the game a little bit real quick. I wanted you to exchange pleasantries with your old mentor and pal, Coach Ed. But I imagine after a couple of losses, especially to San Bernardino Valley, who Ed just got that nice victory over. The victories that Southwestern's had this season have been quite exciting. I've sat through some games against that other those tougher teams that have really weighed on him a little bit, I'm sure. But you guys got knocked off by San Bernardino Valley, and then, of course, Golden West, which looks pretty good this year. So I would imagine that your team, Coach Watkins, has your full attention and vice versa heading into this game. Especially, you could sell them on that point about the San Bernardino Valley College result.
I've had an opportunity to watch Southwestern play Saturday night after reviewing the film, and they beat a very good football team Saturday night. And there's no doubt in my mind, knowing Coach Carberry the way that I do, he's going to have his guys ready and prepared to play no matter who the opponent is. And so for them to get out there and take care of San Bernardino Valley at San Bernardino Valley was a very impressive win. I had a chance to talk with Coach Carberry on, I think it was Sunday, and I was the first one to congratulate him. I told him when I took the job, I'm rooting for him every week except for one every year. And so it was very nice to see them get that victory against Valley on Saturday night.
And Coach,
another exciting. Go ahead, Dave. All the Southwestern's wins, man, have been thrilling.
And Coach, you really built quite the. Having an instructor like being able to play for someone like Coach Carberry, and like we talked about several times, you really built quite the program since you've taken over too, and really brought San Diego Mesa College as far as the football program up to the top. So it's really a great rivalry because you got to have a rivalry. You got to be able to beat each other. So it's really fun to watch now. I know I had the pleasantry to watch yourselves and San Diego or Southwestern play back in 2019 and 2018, and about when you kind of got started really over there at San Diego Mesa. But you really came a long way, and you guys are doing a heck of a job over there now.
I appreciate it. I don't know as much history as you guys do about San Diego Community College football, but we're doing our best each week to try and make it competitive, and we look forward to our games against Southwestern. They're always hard fought, and looking forward to another one on Saturday night.
Hey, Dave, I know Coach can hear us. It sounds like he's on a little bit of a delay. If he wants to start talking also, I'm going to bring in another guest real quick. You talk about the history of community college football, at least Southwestern college football, Dave. When Coach Ed came from Mount San Jacinto for those couple of years, and he did real well. He turned the program kind of around, 4-6 his first year, and then a couple of big-time winning seasons, 15 wins over the next 2 years. A lot's been talked about Coach Carberry's over 100 career victories. Hasn't reached that total milestone yet at Southwestern. But, Dave, in that first season at Southwestern back in 2007, I don't know if Coach Ed thought he'd still be on the job 15 years later, 14 seasons later after that first season, but he had a pretty decent quarterback. A guy went on to, I think, coach some football too. So we'll let Ed kind of get his shot refreshed. Coach Drew, how are you, sir? Great to see you. Hey, at that first season, you're the son of a coach, so you probably saw through the 1-6 season, and you already knew about Coach past and his history at the prep level.
Oh, no question. I think, really it was my relationship with my dad, who was a St. Paul swordsman like Coach Carberry. And when I bounced back from Tulsa and was looking for a place to play, he was taking over at Southwestern. And I think the greatest compliment I can pay Coach Carberry is he was the exact same way when we were 0-5. We lost a couple tough games as we were when we beat undefeated Antelope Valley at the end of the year. And that was my favorite victory because They had to time my 40-yard dash at San Diego State with the sundial, but Antelope Valley only gave up one rushing touchdown that year, 1-yard sneak by, the guy who could barely get in the stands, Drew Wessling. Yeah. So that was a fun game. And, it's crazy when you say that. I mean, it's 14 years ago, that we were together at Southwestern, and to see what he's done and what Coach Watkins is doing at Mesa and what everybody's really doing in San Diego Community College football is really exciting. And nobody's been hit harder with COVID than the JCs, especially down here. And just to be able to have a functional day of school and practice post-COVID for a lot of these guys is a big accomplishment. And, I'm really proud to be a part of the San Diego football community, and these two gentlemen do a great job.
Yeah, Coach Gary, I'm going to lean on you just a little bit to save me a little bit while I get Coach. This is his recruitment show, and I don't want to jeopardize your time or interest in this, but just to let everybody know that, Coach Watkins was a player under Coach Carberry at Monte Vista, and these two have already met on the field a couple of times. So heading into this Saturday's game, I'm sure Coach Gary, like I said, you got that 2-game losing streak you got to snap. You guys started off so well. Look, Golden West, we know they're a very, very strong team. What's kind of hit the rails a little bit over the last couple of games, and what's the refocus, especially with Southwestern maybe feeling their oats a little bit off that the two road victories?
Yeah, it's like I told my team this morning or this afternoon, the sky isn't falling. We've lost to some really good football teams. 2 of our 3 losses are the teams who are undefeated. I believe they're like 1-2 right now in the SCFA. We did not perform well against San Bernardino Valley, and sometimes that happens. And so we've been trying to right that ship and get it going and playing the Mesa way again. And hopefully we can put together a solid performance on Saturday.
Dave, do you have any I don't know if you need to try to communicate with Coach Ed, and I'm sorry that I really had a great show planned, especially, and thanks to Drew for stopping by too, and maybe we'll talk a little bit too about let you go, but if I could just grill you, well, maybe I could square away with Ed his connection. Maybe I could grill you real quick on Friday night's game against the Sultans. Yep. I imagine, Coach Drew, it's an easy sell for you because all you have to do is look. The computers don't like the game at all, right? And we know that all of our teams almost are underdogs going into these road games against you guys this week. But it's an easy sell to your kids. All you have to do is point to the fact that Santana has been they've won their last 3 appearances in the quarterfinals to gain that semifinal berth. So for some reason, and we know that the reasons are good with that coaching staff, they just keep replugging and they're generating a lot of victories. What do you know about the Sultans going into this week?
Yeah, I think they have a lot of confidence because they've won so much. I think Coach Estes and his staff, they've been there a while. They have a great program, and there's a lot of pride in that community. And you talked a little bit about it. I mean, East County football had a terrific first week of the playoffs, and you're in the second week of the playoffs. So if we're going to have to give you a Newt Rockne speech to get you excited to play, then that's a pretty sad state of affairs. I mean, there's only 8 teams left in each division. So it's going to be a battle. There are no teams that are not great teams right now. So our guys are excited. We're excited. We're going to be at home. We've had a week off, and we had a good first day of practice. But I think the guys understand that it's going to be a battle for every team from here on out.
Coach, the Sultans have really relied heavily due to the injury bug, with the quarterback situation in particular, of that defense has just been so solid and kept the team. I don't want to say they've kept them afloat, but they've really, there's been games where they had 5 turnovers. I believe it was against Mar Vista, and that defense second half just lights out. And created some turnovers of their own, and really, I think, has been the ultimate strength of the Sultans, and really could be the dangerous point too for opposing offenses.
There's no question. I had to rewatch the film a couple times because I thought maybe they switched to Canadian football because they blitz so much. Sometimes I think they're sending 12. It's just unbelievable how aggressive they are. And they're going to make you earn every yard and make sure your protection schemes and blocking schemes are sound. And, they just keep coming after you. They play defense, they look like the 85 Bears. They're just coming from all over the place. And when you think, okay, they're not going to blitz 3 times in a row, they do it 4. So it's a fun brand of football. Something exciting is going to happen on a play. We're going to get smoked, or it might be a big play. So, for the fans' sakes, I think it's exciting. But you're right. I mean, they've lost 2 football games, and they've lost to 2 really good teams that are, Cap and West Hills. So, they're making teams beat them. They're not beating themselves, and that's the mark of a well-coached football team.
Well, I don't want to touch on one last point you made right there. A real interesting point to that too, and statistic is that they were the only team also to West Hills was playing perfect football. They weren't giving the ball away at all. I mean, they hadn't turned it over, no picks, no fumbles, no forced fumble. I mean, they played just spectacular, and then they ran into Santana. Although they did get the win, you guys were putting a lot of pressure on that offensive line and were able to get to the quarterback. And talking to Braden behind center for West Hills after the game, he said that's the first time that I had real pressure all season long. So to me, that tells me that Santana's really got a fantastic shot of sticking around for quite a while. It could be quite dangerous.
No question. And, I think we're fortunate that we have good senior leadership, and they understand that and are doing a nice job of preparing the best they can. And the guys understand that this is a very, very good football team who's very dangerous, and their style of play can kind of snowball on you. So if you get a negative play, it's hard to get out of that hole. So it's up to us to make sure that we're all communicating up front, and we have a good idea of where we think they're coming from. When I was at San Diego State, Rocky Long was the D coordinator, and we never knew where they were coming from. So the best coverage is a pass rush, because a lot of times you don't have to cover a guy if he's, on the ground. He can't throw from the ground. So they certainly are committed to that style. They're comfortable playing on the edge like that, and they make the offense uncomfortable. So it's up to us to kind of take the fight to them, and should be a great football game. We're excited.
Done a heck of a job. You've done a heck of a job at the carousel too. Ethan Wright's been your utility guy that's really stepped up wherever he's almost been your best chess player, I guess you could say. You're putting him anywhere and everywhere he goes, he exceeds, including the baseball diamond.
Yeah.
So wait, is Ethan Wright a Santana guy, or is he a West Hills guy?
Yeah, he's there kind of like he's there. Wright is the jack of all trades on the Sultans, so he might be the guy who's going to appear at quarterback. Their other one's a JV College who he's a sophomore, so he might be. Hey, we can't give away any secrets here, but that's what's going on.
The only reason I bring that up is because I talked about the 85 Bears. So you're talking to a football coach. You got to use jersey numbers, not names. We just go.
Right. Okay.
5,
good.
23.
Perfect.
The 85 Bears, the reason they ran the 46 defense was because Buddy Ryan didn't know Doug Plank's name, so he just called him 46. That was the strong safety who kind of made the whole thing go. So, yeah, when you say names, I don't know, but you say the right numbers, I can't sleep at night. So, no, you're exactly right. They got a bunch of guys who they can put in different spots, and they all kind of are those kids you'd pick first in recess, who could play receiver, running back, quarterback, and they'll make plays wherever you put them. And they got a lot of guys like that, a lot of multi-sport guys too, which you brought up, which means they're great athletes and they understand leverage and playing ball. So we got our work cut out for us. It's gonna be a great ball game. We're excited.
Well,
absolutely.
Just to wrap that up, you have your own talented star. I think everyone knows of Jaden Virgin, but man, he might be still underrated. I don't want to say as much publicity you do. You're your own great PR machine in a way, but you back it up, and you've done it now with Mount Carmel. You've shown it before at Hilltop. So, it's easy to be all in with Drew, my man. But look, Virgin, he's a prospect. I mean, he's going to Boise. He's a guy who maybe is still underrated, and he's the guy that the Sultans are going to have to look out. There's a lot of talented guys on that roster, but how do you see him projected, Coach Drew? The ratings kind of have him as a tight end, but he's such a good defensive player.
Yeah, he's the most talented player that I've been around, and that includes my time at San Diego State with a lot of guys who went to the NFL. So he is just he's got so much potential, and he's such a great kid. He's underrated, but people wouldn't know that he's been offered by a bunch of the Pac-12 the last 3 months because he doesn't go on Twitter and put how great and lucky he is. All he does is call Boise and say, hey, just so you know, I'm still really committed. Just focused on my senior year, and I can't wait to get up there. So he's a rare breed off the field as a leader, especially in today's climate. And he's certainly a rare breed on the field. I mean, he's a 6'4", 225-pound edge player. He's got long arms. Really, he'd be the best player at every position, maybe sans quarterback. And we're just kind of thankful that he's open to doing whatever we ask him to do. You know, I talked to him today and said, hey, on my play sheet here, you know, I have my little column for down and distance. Then I have a little small one that says, in case of emergency, break glass and give the ball to Jaden, because it doesn't matter what you call. He's going to just run over you, through you, around you, and then he'll pick you up and say, good job, buddy, because that's the kind of kid he is. So it's been a blast. Our defensive coordinator, Deontay Lee, is moving him all over the place, putting him at middle linebacker, DN. He had him at free safety one time doing something crazy. So I would not want to have to game plan against him, and I'm really thankful that he's on our side.
We'll let you go, and I'll wrap it up with Coach Gary. If we can't get Ed, at least we'll preview the game, and we've talked about the information that we need to share with everyone, and Dave and I will talk about it again. But Coach Drew, good luck for every game except for this week, of course. We're going to be rooting for our Sultans. But like I said, you know, you've had a great any reward. You know, everyone talks about how good you guys have been, and also, of course, you don't want to overlook modern day Catholic, Santa Fe Christian. Is there any reward for you guys that all the hustle they've been talking about with Division III, that it's going to be such an exciting playoff? And of course, we're throwing our teams in there. West Hills certainly with the best chance, and the best thing that they have going for them in their game, even though they're possibly 3 touchdown underdogs, is that big fat 0 in the loss column, and that's going to intimidate any team. They've been to Ramona in the past, about 5 years ago, and they lost by like 20 points, but it seems like a game that they obviously can compete in.
No question. I think D3s are really all these brackets have been really well balanced and competitive. And I think the parity that we're seeing across the board is just, you know, attributed to the commitment to football and coaches and resources and a general wanting to, if we're going to do this, do it right. So, Coach Watkins, I think, can attest to, the more I coach, the more the victories feel like relief and the losses are just agonizing. So
no doubt about that. It's no doubt about that.
You know, people go, oh, you guys were favorites. And we go, man, you have no many contingency plans we come up with. And it's not how many great things can go wrong. It's, well, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if his grandma's around? What if his girlfriend dumps him? What do we do with all these things? You know, so it's a battle. And every Friday, every Saturday, every Sunday, as we saw yesterday in the NFL too, you never know. Any given day, things can happen for sure.
And the media will help that along a little bit and stir the pot slightly also to increase those opportunities and you know, maybe give somebody that was an underdog a little more reason to come out on top. You know, why are you giving them 21? I can't believe you're going to give them 21. You know, just to get them fired up and let them play their best game. I mean, I think that's what we want. All as coaches, members of the media, as players, we just want a really good game.
Well, it's awesome what you guys do to help promote the game, and we have so many cool things in San Diego from all the different outlets that support it. And it was funny today. We had a coach talking to his position group, and he said, "You know, this is bulletin board material." And one of the sophomores goes, "What's a bulletin board?" He goes, "You mean like on Twitter?" So it's a different world for sure. But yeah, we said basically it's like a non-digital Twitter, buddy. So
hey, you know, we might invent our own like sports trash talking social media outlet and call it bulletin board. Coach Drew and I are going to work on that in the future. Thanks, Coach Drew. Great to catch up with you again. I'm sorry about smashing that 4-outer on you with like 10 barrels in the middle, and it made you stand up. Great to see you, brother.
I have no.
Coach Gary knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know it all too well. Yeah.
Coach Gary knows. He's a
club,
Coach Gary's a player too.
I got lucky with Jaden Virgin. I can't win all the aces versus kings, man. So it's all
well,
good. I'll take that.
Like, I got $2 from the other guy, and I bet I would have got a half a stack of Redbirds, Gary, if Drew I wouldn't have smashed that 4-outer on him. Okay.
Yep.
Drew, good luck. Maybe we'll hit you up for some post game if it's a close, exciting game that we win. That we might hit you up if we win. We're gonna need some quotes from the other coach.
Whatever you guys need, I got you anytime. Thank you guys for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Take
Good
care,
luck,
Coach.
Coach Drew. Okay,
Good to see you, Drew.
Coach Gary.
Take care, Coach.
So, Coach Gary, we don't want to make it. This is supposed to be Ed's show, but maybe we'll just turn into a little bit of a preview right now. Like I said, look, they've had their woes a little bit, but coming into the season, I think you knew, and the tide had shifted a little bit. They had a real tough situation down, and not that all Drew's right. I mean, the JCs have had it worse than anybody in the football realm over the last 24 months. So, where do you stand with your guys? We have some guys on your club too. Blaze Zito's had a tremendous year. Wow.
Yes, Blaze has been a force for us up front. One of our sophomore defensive ends was out the first half of the season with a foot injury, and Blaze from Helix High stepped right in and filled that void for us and has been an impact player. I think Blaze had a game with 4 sacks actually against San Bernardino Valley.
Yeah.
And so he's been an amazing young man for us both on and off the field, and hopefully he shows up and shows out Saturday night.
And also, Dave, another player. I'll let you ask something, Dave. But I don't know. I've watched several games. I got a nice stream. Jordan Young I saw him make a great return early in the season, and of course, the former Grossmont standout Julian Sanderlin. He's turned into a big time prospect, Coach.
Yeah, Juju's Grossmont High came to us from Dixie, and literally has been a just rock solid stud for us for the last 2 seasons. He's one of our few sophomores that we have in our program, and he's been a great example to younger guys about how to prepare and how to play the Olympian way. And so not having Juju early in the season was pretty difficult for us. But when he came back, I believe he came back to Palomar week, he stepped in right away and stepped up and began to lead our defense again. And we've been very solid with him on our front.
And as far as Jordan Young, as a matter of fact, I saw his father was at the Coach Young was at the West Hills game this last Friday, and I didn't realize that he'd had such unfortunate luck. I guess he tore up his knee or something to that effect.
He suffered an early season injury to his knee.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's unfortunate because I saw him make some really great plays, and I know he was a good asset to the special teams, especially.
There's no doubt. Looks like Coach Carberry's on and running.
Yeah, Coach, you look good now. Yeah, this is great. I'm sorry. I hope you heard some of Drew. I brought on Drew to kind of save us while we fixed you up, but of course he said he said exactly what you'd think he would say about you, and I probably should have pressed him even harder a little bit on. Like I said, he's a son of a coach, and I'm sure that he knew in that first 1-6 season that you're gonna be okay at Southwestern to go on another 14 years. So great to see you, Coach.
He ended up actually his whole family went to high school where I went to high school. His dad went to high school at St. Paul High, and his aunt was in my class. So it's kind of interesting as we went through that whole thing. And he's a phenomenal coach, and people, kids gravitate to him. And it's a really honor to have had a chance to work with him and get things done.
No, it's just look, Mount Carmel looked like they had some players going into this season, but Coach Wessling just he energizes a football community and makes more kids want to play and come out and join and be part of something. And that's, it's almost I want to say like a textbook of how to do things nowadays, kind of with all the different social media and all that. So, but just wanted to get him. I kind of had a cool thing planned, teasing you about that 1-6 start with him as quarterback. I think it worked out. It worked out for you, Coach. 90. Everybody talks about, Coach, your 100 victories at Monte Vista. I believe you had some other prep victories before that, and of course at Mount San Jacinto. So well over 200 career victories now for you. Not yet reached 100 at Southwestern, but you get a chance now. Your camera's working, your sound's working. Coach Gary's here. Coach
Hey, Gary.
Ed.
Coach, how's it going? Good to see you.
Good. I was kidding my wife that, well, this thing was not, getting good reception, that you'd be there in the background cutting wires and doing stuff like that.
Yes, I sent that bad Wi-Fi your way for sure.
You're right. It put me in a bind trying to say, oh, hey, save the show. I know Coach Gary could save the show, and Coach Drew saved the show too. But now that we got you on, Coach, and you can talk about the game. Dave kind of explained. Dave explained what you got going on Saturday, but you have your opposing coach here. Just tell us in your own words what you offer to the student athletes to come out and see the game on Saturday night against Coach Watkins' Mesa Olympians, a very good team.
Absolutely. Well, we have a chance for people in the area and outside the area to come in and watch the game for free. If an athlete comes in, he's got a Letterman jacket or something of that nature, he's going to get in for free, and so are his parents. And we're going to feed everybody and then do a tour of the facility. We think we have as nice a facility as there is in Southern California, for sure, San Diego. So we just want to make people aware of what's going on at Southwestern, and hope for the best. We've got a really tough game against Coach Watkins there, who's as everybody has said stuff. I'm sure you have, that he's as diligent, hardworking coach as there is in the county.
Yeah, Coach Watkins, we know the team is built around that defense, but you have a nice quarterback to work with this season as well. Look, I'll talk about. I'll just want to get maybe some comments. Let you go because this is Ed's show. But what do you need to do? Southwestern, maybe they've got some questions, but you still need to focus. Fortunately for you, Coach Watkins, maybe because you're going up against a Coach Ed Carberry team, you kind of know what to look for, even if the personnel that they have currently doesn't stand out as much.
I mean, I think I think when going back to what Coach Carter was saying, that work ethic he talks about, like that diligent, like I got that from him. I will not get off this show without complimenting the effort and the time and commitment that he put in at Monte Vista while I was there. I mean, it was noticeable. We knew that he was grinding. And I tell my wife all the time, I get up and work because I guarantee you Coach Carberry is up working right now. So it's something where, that was ingrained in me as a student athlete under his tutelage, and something that drives me to this day to continue to do things we're trying to do over at Mesa. I think, I'm certain Southwestern College is going to be ready to play. I mean, records don't matter. Previous games don't matter. It's going to be a really hard fought battle. And one thing's for sure, Coach Carberry's going to have his guys ready to go. And so you talk about some familiarity with them and schematics and all that stuff. One of the things that I can bear witness to is that they're going to find a way. They're going to find a way to be competitive. The scheme that you think they're going to play that may not be what they're going to play. You know what I mean? And so they're going to do whatever they need to do on Saturday to be competitive. And hopefully we're prepared to handle that.
Yeah, that sounds like it. And I don't know if points are going to be in a premium on that night, but that's the way I might be leaning. So we'll let you go. But Ed, you want to say anything, to your buddy there? You don't have to talk any trash. I just wanted to get you on and said, hey, exchange some pleasantries or something. I don't know.
Send me your call sheet, Coach. Send me your call sheet.
Yeah, for Christmas.
Thanks a lot, Coach Gary. Go ahead, Ed.
I was going to say, we were sitting at a clinic a couple of years ago before he was the head coach, and we were just talking football things, and I looked over at him and I go, You're not going to remember any of this stuff. You have to forget it. You can't talk about it. And we were both laughing about it pretty hard. So he's a lot of fun to be around, and his family man that has found a way to, turn Mesa's program around. They've always had talent, and they've had up and down years, but they'll be there ready to play. Got a great physical defense, accurate quarterback who throws the deep ball. So they've got all the components. Their kicking game's really good, and so it's going to be, as he said already, it's a neighborhood rivalry, and both teams will be out there ready to give their best.
Yeah,
Possibly
and maybe
whoever makes what do they say? Whoever makes the fewest mistakes typically will win the game.
Well, it's definitely true, and it's an old adage. I mean, we blocked a field goal with 4 seconds to go in the game to beat Chafee, and it was just one of those things where the coach that was in charge of that area, stayed on top of it, watched everything, watched every game they had, and found the crease, and he was able to get it done. And that's kind of been a story of us at Southwestern is, looking and trying to, Gary mentioned it already, is outwork the other guy. There's those stories they say, you can do a lot of things, you can be tired, you can do all those other things, but no one can outwork you. And that's, I think, what comes out of the Southwestern and San Diego Mesa programs, and certainly out of Monte Vista.
And coaches, you also have to have the and nothing to take away from the coaching that you guys have done throughout the years and done phenomenal at it, but you also have to have those players and the talented players, or even some players that you've been able to create talent and bring talent out of to execute your plays and execute what you have taught them, which will also play out on the field. Whoever gets the best execution on the playing field also will get the W at the end of it.
Definitely. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's the kind of game that everybody gets excited about, and we'll look forward to it, and I'm sure they'll be there ready to go.
Well, we'll catch up. We're going to talk to Ed just a little bit more, but we'll let Gary go and thank him so much. Thanks for saving us a little bit too with you and Coach Drew there. Not really required of you to come by, but Coach Watkins, great to see you again, and good luck in that game. Maybe we kind of had to say you'd lost the 2 in a row. The team was playing so well. We want to see a good game out there, but look, it's going to be a tough ask for Southwestern. This Mesa team has been very, very strong all year, and maybe the way it's colliding, it'll be a great contest. So thanks, Coach Watkins.
I appreciate you guys having me. Coach, good seeing you.
Hey.
See you Saturday.
Good luck, Gary. Yep. All right. Okay, Coach. Thanks for getting fixed up, and thanks to your wife as well. She was really the star there. I know, I could tell. But Dave, we really get to talk to Ed for a few minutes here. We'll let him go. We didn't want to take him too much, but we didn't get him at all in those first couple of minutes. So, Coach Ed, I teased Drew about that 1-win season, but since then, and 90 victories, 6 titles. There's a lot of reasons for our kids. There are 4 choices in the county. Look, Coach Watkins has a great choice as well. We want these kids that are looking for football opportunities to go to any of these schools, that whatever fits their needs or their requirements to continue to play. But for you down there at Southwestern, you always sell your facilities, but I'm here to sell on Ed Carberry, Dave. Like I said, the 90 victories, 6 titles. What can I say? 2-time regional coach of the year as well. Ed Carberry is far from done at Southwestern College, Dave.
It's funny that you bring that up too, Ramon, is because when I reached out to Ed and, decided to kind of branch our brand out a little bit and contact San Diego Mesa. We had Grossmont, San Diego Mesa, and Southwestern all down here. Did a little Palomar with with our good buddy, God rest his soul, but Tom Sachs, we had him helping from up there too as well. But it was really a ball, to be honest, being out there and being able to go to the different stadiums and take in ball games at San Diego Mesa College, take them in at Southwestern, take them in at Grossmont. Really get a good look at who was king of the county. I mean, you got to watch every single one of those home games, and it really was. You'd have a better view, so we could actually figure out who really was the best, and who really had the key talent. And it really was a lot of fun. And I know Ramon took part in that also those seasons, and they really were some special seasons. And we really got to know the Southwestern brand ourselves. And I can speak on behalf of you, Coach, and your coaching staff, and the players that you've had in and out of there have been phenomenal. As with any teams, you have your ups and downs. I mean, the Kansas City Chiefs are a perfect example of that. You win so many times and you get so many titles, and you go back-to-back Super Bowls, and then you kind of fall down a little bit. You got to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and start all over again. And I think with what you've had, Coach, this year, not having that big pull from all over the county, I think you've still done a fantastic job, and your recruiting department, yourself, your coaches, pretty much everyone at Southwestern College.
Yeah, as tough as it's been, Ed, all the experts said that you admitted it going into the season that things were a little tougher down in your direction of the county just because of the situation.
Yeah, the COVID. Well, our president at the time, she came out and said Southwestern won't be playing any sports, and of course, it kind of irks you a little bit, and we still know the tragedy of this pandemic has been out there, and it'll continue. But she came out in front page of the Union Tribune Sports that our stadium up there and no football for Southwestern. People started scattering, looking for places to go. And then our inability to be allowed to lift weights and do some things like that, make it a difference for us. That's been the case over the years, that you just get in there, hit the weights really hard all off season, and develop your players. And you don't always get a dozen roses. Sometimes you've got 3 or 4 other kind of flowers in there, and you have to do something with them. And if you don't get out there and work with them and do everything you can, then you're not going to succeed. And so the one thing that's going on here in our particular area is that the coaches all work, all do, everybody recruits, everybody does that. We were kidding and talking about this recruit night about recruiting in general. I was talking to one of our younger coaches, and I said, well, hey, you know what? This guy is in the military. He's a clerk. The next guy, he works on the big trucks. Third guy is a airman. But when they come over the hill, here come the Chinese over the hill, right? So we're not each of those things. We are together, and that puts us in a position anyway to show that we're going to come at it from a different standpoint, that we can do everything we need to do to be successful.
Yep.
And Coach, that's pretty much. We know that the facilities are great. We know especially why they are also not just the weight room and the indoors, but you've been able to host quite a few of the CIF championships and a couple of the finals as well. So you've been real fortunate to also have the North County, South Bay, even the East County teams coming in and getting to see your facility that way on top of this recruiting game.
Great.
So
it's been great to have everybody at the end of their meeting when they go to clap it out or whatever they're doing. They say, let's go, everybody, 1, 2, 3, Southwestern. And everybody in the county for a number of years was saying that. So
that's where they, that's where they want to end up. Yeah, for the championship.
Absolutely. But we've been blessed to have all these things. Our new president is a former baseball player, I believe, at Southwestern. So he understands athletics and the importance of it all. We have really, the number one thing we've done here is scholarships. We've had over 300 guys get scholarships on every level. Got a number of guys go to the NFL. We've had the National Division II MVP, and then a guy who goes on, Luis Perez, who goes on to a lot of different things in the NFL all over. It's done all kinds of leagues and everything. And so, to have a guy like him come out is real special. And years ago, we were having kind of a off season, a little bit like this year that's been up and down. And walking along with our daughter, and she goes, okay, so what's winning? I said, well, Megan, winning is exactly what it was before. It's about getting kids to the school that they can do well in academically and athletically. And if they do that, then when they're 35 years old and they've got a wife or a husband, with 35 years old, and then they're out there, living in a life that they'd like to live in. And that's a big part of the whole thing. But it's faith, family, and football in a nutshell.
And winning, Dave, don't forget. I mean, look, again, my job is to sit here and sell it, and it's an easy sell with Coach Ed Carberry, Dave, averaging over 8 victories, dating all the way back. Really, if you want to look at it from 2012, when really things kicked it into gear. I mean, he had successful after that 1-win season with Drew Wessling, whatever happened to that guy, rolled off 15 wins over the next 2 years, and then that string of several victories that include all those titles all the way up and even just back over the last 5 years, all the success. So this was a down year, and it was expected to be just because of what happened, Dave, with the pandemic. And like Ed said, when that headline went out, kids were already having to decide whether or not they were going to move on, whether they were going to keep playing football. That was the crucial time. And maybe Ed hasn't gotten quite the talent that he usually has on his roster, but certainly, Ed, these guys have come up with some big wins. And if anything, you must have done, you and your staff, a pretty good job of coaching, basically moving what looks to me, the game wasn't on video last week, but moving a wide receiver to quarterback over the last 2 games kind of helped lead you to that victory. A pretty exciting game against San Bernardino Valley. Tell me what happened there this week. And all your wins, the win against Grossmont was great. Jourdain with the touchdown. Then, of course, the incredible kicks by Booth and the block to win that other road game. And then this past weekend, tell me what happened on Saturday night. The offensive production was still kind of slight, but man, these guys found a way.
I know we got 2 touchdowns. So everybody was pretty excited. And then we added a couple more. And so it was a lot of fun to be on the sideline when the ball bounced our way. There had been a series where for almost the entire season, if you looked at where the offense got the ball at, it's inside the 20 almost virtually every time, sometimes inside the 10. And you go out there and you don't have an explosive offense. You have an offense that has to get in there and grind. And when you look at that, the things that we've been able to accomplish have been really great. One of the really neat things that happened this last weekend, actually was, I think, last Thursday, is the game was over or practice was over, and guys had to hustle. It's a small detail, but had to hustle around, cleaning, picking things up, run to the next station, and they did it all on their own. Usually we're in there, let's go, get moving. And these guys took it upon themselves. When, as we've said to them numerous times, when the players take the team over, something magical happens out there, and it's been that way every year as we go over all these years. And when you get that guy to step in and realize, hey, if I get a little bit better, then we're gonna get a lot better as a team. And I think also the basics of our program, we've had great coaches come through and do a real nice job, but the program has been the same since like 1961, when my old high school coach Marion Ansich started out there in Whittier and Santa Fe Springs, and he had a work ethic, and everybody that you talk to, he passed away last year, but every guy that talked about work ethic is probably the biggest thing they've learned from him. And we've heard that a ton of times from guys who have come back and gone on doing whatever they're doing in their life, and then come back and say the same thing. It was find a way, and everybody in between. We had a number of guys that thought, shoot, going to get a hold of old Coach Carberry and see if he's still around. And they say, hey, you know what? Most important thing I got from this, what's that? Find a way. And that's kind of been our mentality, whether it's in the weight room or it's on the football field, or it's Darrell Mack rushing for 50 carries for 250 yards and 2 touchdowns, or Mike Wiley going after people and going 2 ways. Eric Olson, who's a fireman out in Phoenix, another fireman in Austin, Texas. Guys that just are living the dream that we hope that they would all reach and take that to the next level. And we've got a ton of guys at Southwestern. We've had over 300 scholarships. We've got them to go to school, but probably the most important thing, maybe it's not the most important, but it certainly is important, is we had a program started in the counseling department that talked to kids about what they needed to do. We have now we have the best weight program and the best weight room, and certainly in the county, if not the state. And then we have our own a couple of folks that are counselors that are dedicated just to sports, male and female sports. And so by doing that, we've put ourselves in a position to take that next step academically. And the guy that is out there working for it is really done a great job for us. And we look forward to keep working with him.
Yeah, Dave, or they might go on to be leaders in their community, or great football coaches like Coach Watkins and Coach Westlings. Dave, and what Ed's saying about the equating it to the current season, Southwestern has been up against some tough opponents where they have struggled, but against teams that they are comparable and competitive with, that's where they have found the way and done it with that work ethic, because they haven't been able to produce against those tough teams, and we can't do that. That kind of limits your confidence a little bit. But each time these guys have been in a situation where they've needed big plays to win games. Same thing happened last week against San Bernardino Valley, and the other wins, Cerritos game and the Grossmont College game, as well as the Griffins have done this year, Dave. And we said the Griffins look like they'd be having a better season with the switch in leagues, maybe getting some of the players, and they went won 6 games on the field this year. Still, Southwestern won that game in the season opener 10-7, Dave.
Yeah, and I actually touched on that. Coach Carberry and myself had a little chat this morning too of exactly that, and I came to the conclusion that, and it was more of I think he lost some of those kids over there as well. Not that it's not a good program, because it is a great program, but also it was because of the COVID and everything going on, and them being shut down completely over there at Southwestern, that they pretty much went local. They went as close as they possibly could, and of course at that point in time, and I think it's a pretty good theory, is, hey, Grossmont's right up the road from most of our schools and pretty convenient to get to. So I think it was also the convenience too of Grossmont's right there. Maybe a few went to Mesa, but I think for the most part, it was a convenience of Grossmont College being there. And the whole COVID thing, like we've said, just really threw everything off, and them not having the ability to have the recruitment game or any game, and then also not having those playoff games being played on their field. Also, that is a huge feature, I think, for Southwestern College. And then, of course, the quarterback, opening up the clinic first thing to start the season too is always a nice one too, to feature the facilities in the field. So, three big opportunities that the college missed out on as far as athletically. And I don't mean just for football. I mean for all sports, really. I think I'm sure the other departments struggled a little bit as well because of the same issue. Correct me if I'm wrong, Coach.
Oh, you're right. It was very difficult for guys that, it's really been hard. A lot of families have been really struggling over this. Many of our players, we don't vaccinate, but we vaccinate to start with, and then we have to take a swab test every day right on campus. The college has made an incredible commitment to athletics and to the student body, the workers on campus. They've made that available to them, and to go in there, like I went in there yesterday and got everything taken care of in 15 minutes, and we're on my way back to the meeting we were in. And so that's been super positive. It's a battle. If you're going to win, they always say, if you're going to shine, you got to grind. If you're going to grind, you got to shine. And
sounds like something that you've been, that Coach Watkins just mentioned earlier. So the apple really doesn't fall far from the tree, Coach.
Well, there was a deal years ago now when Barack Obama was just running for the first time, I think, for the presidency. And, he was at some function at like 6:00 in the morning in a local neighborhood gym that he really didn't want to be at. And he was shaking hands and walking around, and somebody said, some loud person from the other side of the gym said something to the fact, "Are you ready?" And then they echoed it on the other side of the gym. And then suddenly the entire gym was fired up and excited. And so that's about what we're another big part of what our football program is getting out there and being as physical and hard hitting as you can, but do everything within the confines of the game. And we've been able to get that done, and we want to keep it going.
And I wanted to mention one thing in regards to that. I've also been able to tune in to what Ramon and his counterpart has been able to do for you guys, and what I noticed, and it's gotten much better for sure, but that you could tell the rust of having a year of no football and no lifting and no anything. And boy, I think it was raining hankies the first game, of course, and then I think overall, really, even this season, you could go from Pop Warner through high school up into the community colleges, universities, and even into the NFL. And I think I've never seen so many yellow flags in my entire life.
they're all working the shoulder out for sure. And get a little bit
But
better with that.
you know, but you know, I think for the most part, as long as they're calling the real detrimental plays, especially to protect these quarterbacks, and you know that the big talk that's been about, you know, for the last few years is especially the targeting, and seems to be happening more at the community college and college level than really anywhere, and so they've really had to come down on that and be real careful about how they call those. And you know, really, you want to teach that, and you don't want the end result, of course, that we've seen. And I'm sure that you definitely stand behind something like that.
Well, there's you know, everybody. It's a violent game. It's you know, it's not a game for the meek. You get out there and hit as hard as you can, and make sure you're using your shoulder pads and not your helmet. And being
I thought it was a
taught.
tackling game, not a hitting game, Coach, but that seems to have changed.
You know, it's the group. When you look at the position played, like right now, if you're talking about defense, you're talking about safeties. Linebackers are going to be hitting for sure, but they're not going to be in a space where they're going to come out and gain a lot of momentum before they hit somebody. When you look in the secondary, it's almost impossible to teach tackling now. And you look at the safeties, they're the hammer. They come in and use that shoulder pad right in the chest and put guys, you know, out there where they know they've been tackled. There's no doubt. But you can get all those rubber tire things that you want. You can teach it. You got to teach it from the end result back. You have to teach it so they see exactly how that should finish. Then you got to get in. You got to get into the office and show them on video. And then one of the other things is that you know, guys are taught correctly from the first get-go, and that comes back to say you're getting. I think when Drew's team was on here. Let's say, give an example. You look at the people that are there. So he's got his coach that's in charge of tackling, teaching tackling, so that everybody on the staff teaches tackling one way. And there's the expert, the tackling expert. Now, let's say Drew or the other head coaches, they get in there and they talk about it. They have the entire team there, and one guy is saying it. So you can't say it wrong. Okay, I can't go, well, now when you hit with your head, you know, nobody wants that. And so the head coach is responsible for getting in there and saying, hey, as a group, okay, let's get everybody in the whole program here. And we're going to all sit down. We're going to talk about helmets and what their use is and how they're supposed to be dealt with. And that way, you know that that one person has covered everything that's important about it. So,
Dave, we'll let Coach go on that note, because I could get into a rabbit hole asking him all sorts of questions about the transition of the way the game has been played since Coach has been around. I mean, like I said, Dave,
That's what I was getting at.
I think it's like 230 victories if you add them all up, Coach. You know, I know you're not counting, but maybe your wife is, and she could, you know, set me straight on that with all the stops that you've made. So, guys,
been together.
Feel free to go ahead. Ed.
We've been together 45 years. So
wow. She's been there. She's been to Ed. She's been to all 230 victories. She's probably been to all 122 losses.
Yeah, she's there to
pretty good record.
Fire me up and keep me going.
Pretty good record, David. 90 and 52 at Southwestern, Dave. So this is what it's about, Dave. I'll let you get the last comment in, but I just want to remind everybody, all of our students in the East County and everybody else who's watching, and maybe, you know, we're not drawing away from Coach Gary. He was here to help us promote the game. And hey, Coach Ed would say, if his opportunity isn't for you, he wants you to fulfill what's best for you as a player and a person at these other schools. he mentored Gary, right? So if he's not going to go there, right? So, but just to touch on it, Dave, it's Saturday night, the game against the Mesa Olympians. You can go out there, wear your school stuff. The seniors that are considering continuing to play athletically and continue their education at a place where many of our East County players have gone. There's a couple on the team this year. One of your captains, Christian De La Cruz, your great punter, Dustin McElligott on the team, and a couple other guys as well. So, Dave, the Mesa Olympians 5-3, Southwestern 3-5. Mesa looked like the better team coming in. All of a sudden, Southwestern beat San Bernardino Valley College, a team that Mesa was upset by just 2 games ago. So Southwestern has the momentum coming into this one, Dave.
Yep.
Yeah, I just want to touch on the main event, really, so everybody knows, and why we put this on for Coach too. Once again, is that the game will be great, and we want to be there for kickoff, but make sure you get there a little early, because 4:00 is what they're shooting for, to do the tour of the facility and take everybody around. And there's plenty of parking, but the earlier the better. I know that from personal experience at any of the community college events. So that would be best. And remember to wear your Letterman jacket and or jersey or something representing the school that you're currently graduating from this year, and or actually it'll be next year. And just enjoy some. I know these boys can eat. If you're football players, you'll enjoy a spread, and you'll enjoy being able to get some food in and really catch a great rivalry football game. And I just wanted to touch lastly on, you mentioned Coach's wife. I can tell you from personal experience, being on the sideline for 2 years, I will tell you that she is the loudest and the best cheerleader on that sideline. And if you ever had to put an assistant coach in there to call some plays and throw on the headset, I would be the first one to recommend her for hire.
And you're right.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Great catching up with you. I'll see. I'm looking forward to the game. I have not. Maybe I'm the dour one, because all the games that I've been to, Dave, we've played tough opponents and we've struggled. But I testament to you, Coach. We'll let you go, man. I mean, we kept you an hour. I know we missed you the first 10 or 15, but credit to you and your staff. Nothing against these other coaches, these other quarterbacks, because I would assume that they're looking forward to coming back. You had a couple of freshmen out of those guys that we've seen. You've had 5 guys really take snaps, but basically taking Kahanu Davis and moving him to take snaps. I don't know if it's been out of necessity or a desire to move the ball better and win some games.
Well, I can tell you, he was the 2 years ago, before COVID and everything, he was the Hawaiian Islands National Player of the Year at quarterback. And so he came out here wanting to play receiver, change positions, because he was concerned. He wanted to make sure he has best shot at Division I school. And then as we had some injuries at the quarterback spot, and we went to him, hey, if this works out, will you come over there and play quarterback? And he said, yes. He goes, whatever the team needs. And so he came out and really got after it. He had a great game. He had a couple of those, what we would call leadership throws, where that guy's from defense is coming right up the pump, and you got to step and get on your front foot and take the big hit. And he's been able to do it. He's threw 3 touchdowns in this last game, and in his really first debut as a hope for a Division I kind of guy. And so, but he's primarily a quarterback from the get-go who has stepped over to the receiver side to help the team.
Understood. Maybe knowing that maybe in the future his best shot may be at a receiver, but yet understanding now the season's gone along and would like to get a couple of wins, helping the team, because he probably knows he can quarterback at this level. But moving on to the next, hey, who knows? He may develop or find something within himself that could change his path. But he understood what he wanted to work on, giving himself his best shot. So credit to him, and credit to you coaching him up. You guys coaching him up like that, to because you want to win some games like this one against Mesa.
Yep.
Like I said, Dave, they're leveling the playing field a little bit. Mesa's come back to the pack, I would say. Despite Grossmont's record, they played in the easier league. Really balanced between a lot of these teams, but Southwestern might be the team with the most to prove, and I think that they deserve a good home victory. Imagine beating both Grossmont and Mesa at home this year. That would be pretty neat for Coach Ed. I think the excitement, Ed, of the 3 victories certainly has makes the losses a little bit easier. They've been some exciting wins.
Well, we've been real blessed to get out there, and we're excited to get a chance to play. Just get a chance to play. One of the things we talked about after one game was, hey, we didn't win this game, but we got a chance to play. People said we couldn't play for about 15 months, and so coming out here and with a lot of humility and respect for the game, and that's what we plan to bring to the game on Saturday.
And
And
I need to see another victory. Yeah.
And Ramon, one thing, and I remember, and he just kind of mentioned it. You didn't hear it, but that was one of my favorite quotes from Coach. Is all of them matching up, whether it be Palomar, whether it be Grossmont, or Mesa or themselves, is who's going to be the kings of the county at the end of the season. And I was fortunate to see like I said, 2018, 2019, some really quality teams, but some great Southwestern Jaguar teams too. I might add, I was fortunate to see some really phenomenal players, and again, I'm going to reiterate it. Don't be surprised if you see if you see Coach's wife with a headset on calling some plays one day, because I as much as she knows about the game, and I would hear it in my ear on the sidelines, as many games that I did attend. It was real fun because, boy, she was on top of all of it, and who would need to get flagged, and if they should have been flagged. It was real real nice to watch, because that tells you that she was at every game, not just physically, but she was there for the whole thing. So with that being said, good luck this weekend, not only with the game on the field, but with all these recruits coming in and seeing facility. And like you mentioned before, if they choose your facility, great. And you even mentioned yourself earlier this morning that they also have an opportunity to see a quality opponent in Mesa College too. So really, it gives them a real good look for everybody.
Yeah, good point. Good point. Even though it's a tough opponent to have that recruitment game on, the momentum's with Southwestern, and it's my job to tell you about the success that Carberry's had, and that we're getting back to normal with our lives. Everyone's getting healthy, and that means getting back to normal at Southwestern College Jaguars football, and that's winning with head coach Ed Carberry. Thanks, Ed. See you out there Saturday night. Good job. Thanks for fixing the camera. If we had a camera this good, we'd do a show every week. Probably do that. We'll do that next year when the winning returns big time. All right, Ed. Thanks, Dave.
You, Coach.
Good night.
Thank you, guys.